Yeah. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining into the second edition of SAC Sidelines Stays at Home. We have a special guest here with us, Mr. Colin Keanu. I hope I'm saying that right, Colin.
Keanu, yeah.
Keanu, yeah. And of course, I'm Jesse Espitia, and we have.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Bridget, your SAC Sidelines editor.
Yeah. So thank you very much for joining us today, Colin. So just first off, just how are you holding up?
Man, holding in there, it's a crazy time, but hanging in there for sure.
And what have you been doing to keep busy to pass the time?
To be honest, so right as we went on lockdown, I actually applied to work at Target. My mom had previously worked at Target sometime last year, so she applied to Target, and then she had mentioned to me to apply to Target, and I actually got hired and started working within a week. So I've been working a lot of hours, probably around like 30 hours a week-ish there, some 40-hour weeks, but that's really keeping me busy.
How's it been at work? Is it crazy?
During the week, it's pretty slow, but the weekends are crazy.
A lot of people on the weekends?
Yeah, a lot of people on the weekends. It's kind of calmed down in the mornings, but for a cool couple of weeks there, it was like a rush of people in the mornings. I'm sure you guys can imagine, like people running to the toilet paper, running to the paper.
Oh, yeah. I don't get the toilet paper thing. Like, why toilet paper?
I don't know either. I understand the cleaner and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like one person was getting a bunch of toilet paper, and then someone's like, oh, you know what? Maybe we should get toilet paper too.
Yeah.
And everyone just started following them.
Yeah.
And what do you think about sports just being canceled right now? Just in all sports are canceled.
It's definitely a tough thing, thinking about like the words, I'm gonna watch the game, or like a thing of the past now. I haven't heard those words in forever. It's definitely interesting, but I'm keeping busy watching reruns. They usually got the college football reruns going like 24/7 somewhere on ESPN. So that's what I've been watching.
Wow. Any games that you specifically were watching? Did you mention you were a USC fan last time we talked?
No, I'm definitely not a USC
Okay, that's
fan.
good.
No, not really any specific games. To be honest, I couldn't even pinpoint exactly what games we're playing on the reruns.
And do you think that the games are going to be played this season?
That's a toss-up. Honestly, I don't see it happening. I really think that they're kind of allowing some slack with everything right now, and they're allowing people to go back to the beaches and go back to parks, and I think that we're going to see a second wave that's worse than the first wave. And I don't see sports happening anytime soon unless they find a way to take people's temperatures and do all that type of stuff before they compete and before they practice. But even that, like, gathering for practice, gathering for meetings is like an issue. So I don't see it happening, but who knows?
So besides watching reruns of college football games, have you been binging anything else or playing video games to pass the time?
I've been I'm trying to think of what I was watching on Netflix. I've definitely worked through a few Netflix shows. I just started Waco last night because I was curious, to see what that was all about. But yeah, definitely on Netflix. I play Call of Duty, but I'm kind of past the Call of Duty phase. Like I was there when it dropped, and then now I'm kind of, it's like, okay, I'm ready for the next.
You could only play so much.
Yeah, you can only play so much. But
have you been watching The Last Dance at all?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you should get on that. It's really good. This Sunday they got the Bad Boy Days.
Yeah, I'll check it out. What's it on?
It's on ESPN.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
I have a question. How has this stay home affected? I know you guys are always on it. How has it affected your workouts and your diet now that, we'll ask you what's happening in the future, but as of now, has any of this affected your diet or your workouts, keeping your fitness up?
To be honest, no. And if anything, it's kind of sparked it a little bit up more so. I think working at Target was honestly one of the biggest blessings for me, just to get me on schedule, because my sleep schedule was so messed up. I was on the Call of Duty until like 3, 4 in the morning sometimes, just grinding out nights. But so then when I started working at Target, I was having 6 a.m., like 4 a.m. shifts sometimes. So it really forced me to get back on my sleep schedule and just a routine of getting back to workout at a certain time every day. And I honestly, I'm blessed to have some resources around me. I have a really big, like 90-yard hill next to my house, a really steep hill. that I run, and that was part of my workout program last off season. So this off season, it's just, it hasn't really affected me much. Can use the jump rope, of course. I've been out of the weight room a little bit, but that's something that you can get back pretty easily. So.
And as far as your football future, do you know exactly where you're going to be going?
Oh man, it's a toss up right now. I have one D1 offer with Morehead State, and I was actually supposed to fly out and take my official there in April, but with the whole pandemic thing, it got canceled. So I've had a few good talks with their coaches. I've talked to a couple other schools, Fresno State being one of them, and I would love for that to go through, of course. But the pandemic thing has kind of created a crazy time, like times that people are saying that they've never seen before. And it kind of puts recruiting on the back burner for everybody,
And have they have the coaches that you've talked to addressed this specifically? Well, what's going to go down, like the schedule for the off season at all?
They have talked about like the present time of as far as them, implementing. When I was talking to Morehead State last week, they had said that this week they were starting to implement their defense via Zoom. So I know that they're going through those things, but I believe that they're just expecting people to stay in shape, expecting people to still have the drive to like be there and be attentive to the meetings that they're having on Zoom. But it's an interesting time for somebody that's sitting in a JUCO recruiting boat right now, because we don't have any meetings to be at. I don't have a playbook to be studying right now. I don't have film to be studying right now. I don't know what my upcoming scheduled games look like, so I can't even. I'm just kind of sitting here queued up, just ready to play.
Yeah.
Kind of in limbo, right? Just staying ready.
It's unprecedented.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. And do you still talk to any of your SAC dog teammates?
I
Still keep
definitely
in touch with
do.
anyone?
I had just gone and hung out with a couple, Trey Pound being one of them, Trey Heath. I just hang out with Trey Heath, but a lot of my teammates are out of state, so they're back home right now. It's pretty dead.
And what about anybody still on the team? Do you talk to anybody still on the team, like freshmen last year?
Yeah, I talked to a couple of the young DBs through Twitter. They reached out to me and said what's up and caught up a little bit. I'm just trying to make sure that they stay focused and they have everything to look forward to with the new stadium being there and new coaching staff being there, or new old coaching staff being there. There's a lot of excitement around SAC Dogs, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
With all this stuff to look forward to, like the new stadium for the incoming freshmen, or for the people that are going to be sophomores, let's take a look back a little bit. Is there a favorite memory that you have of the season?
From this past season?
From this past season, or maybe just your whole career at Mount SAC?
By far, it was winning conference. That was just an incredible feeling, and I remember, feeling in that moment like I can't allow myself to soak this up because we have RCC next week, And looking back on it now, part of me kind of wishes that I did, take a second to sit there and think like we're the first, or not the first, but the first outright Mount SAC winning team in a few years, of many years now. So that was definitely an accomplishment, but I didn't allow myself to soak it up. And I remember doing the same thing in high school. We had lost in the semifinals of CIF, like in 5 overtimes, and I didn't let myself soak up, conference championship or first playoff win, any of that stuff. And then it was kind of just taken from you all in one moment, and you're just sitting there like, oh, it's over now.
Now, let's hope you get another chance at a moment like that so you can take full advantage of it.
Most definitely.
That's kind of like a good, parallel to what's happening now. Like once we get out of here, we'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to appreciate every single moment that comes at me because it's all taken away. So yeah, I can see the similarities.
Most definitely.
Yes. Now, somebody that was kind of like a part of that team that's no longer with the team is Coach Rod. Is there anything that you can say about Coach Rod? And, he did retire, and we mentioned in our last episode he's elected to the Hall of Fame. So if you had any interactions with him, if you have anything to say about him?
I can't even gather the words to describe my appreciation for that man. I think the amount of time and the amount of effort that he would spend into improving us as young men was incredible. You know, he would give us a speech every day before practice. And most days, you know, it's hot. You just got out of class. You don't want to hear a speech. Let's get to the stretching, coach. But I would find myself really reflecting on those speeches just about daily and thinking like, man, he really would drop gems on us every single day. And it's like, you don't find that anywhere else. That genuine, that authentic energy of like, I really want you to be a better individual, especially the young men that are on the football team. You know, it's a lot of young men that weren't given their fair shake about anything. You know, they came from hard situations. They came from different places. It wasn't given to anybody. So for somebody to reach down and really take time and spend the effort to try to improve them as a young man, it's almost like, whoa, hold on a second. I haven't had this energy. You know what I mean? So Coach Rod, I just, especially from the young man standpoint, and then there's the football standpoint of being disciplined and having discipline about your movements, having discipline about your day. It's just, he's just an incredible man. And my freshman season, I have a picture from the San Bernardino scrimmage where I'm on the field and he's standing right behind me. And I remember when I saw that picture, I was like, this is going to get hung up in my house one day because he's just a legendary man, a legendary individual.
Thank you.
Just real quick, what's the best Coach Rod story you can tell us?
Oh, best Coach Rod story. I can't really put my finger on one moment. Oh, I can actually. Okay, so this man, Coach Rod, swears that he holds like the all-time interceptions record for all of college sports ever. And all divisions, he'll tell you like 29 interceptions in his career or something crazy like that. But so anyways, we're at practice and this, you know, he's in his older age. He doesn't move around all that well anymore. So he was out there and somebody threw a ball like in the air. And while the ball was in the air, or right before somebody threw it, one of my teammates had said, like, oh, you won't catch that. And this man caught it with one hand while he said, what? And looked him in the face. It had me, everybody was laughing so hard at practice because this dude said, what? He's just an animated individual.
That's great.
The athleticism.
He's a funny dude. He's a funny dude.
Could definitely tell. Like, I remember the first time I met this year's team was for a summer scrimmage. And he, like, I stayed in his office for about 2 hours, like talking to him, talking to coaches that were coming in and out, getting to know. And he really wanted me to know who the SAC Dogs were that season. And I was just like, this man is different. Like, this individual wants people to know who they are, what their mentality is. And like, he handed me this article about like, you know, mentality and how it's all about mentality. And he's like, I give this to my guys every year. And I'm like, okay, like I could tell he was just someone different and someone really special, and for sure, it's awesome.
Yeah, he's a man that wears his heart on his sleeve for sure. And he actually had people come in and speak to us as a team that I walked away from driving home like thinking, man, this is a blessing. Like, you don't find this anywhere else. This is why Mount SAC is what it is, because you don't find that type of stuff anywhere else. We had a Vietnam veteran come speak to us that had won the Medal of Honor. And it was crazy, the stories that he was telling us and talking to us about, like you said, mentality and all that type of stuff. But you don't get those type of interactions, those experiences anywhere else, you know? So it's a blessing for sure. And he'll be very, very missed. I don't think that it's the end of Coach Rod here. Oh my gosh, he's been in retirement limbo since he was probably 25. I don't know.
He said that before we came in. I didn't expect him to see him this year. And Andres was like, yeah, he's gone. Our previous sports editor. And I was like, no, he's very much still here.
Yeah.
Now, yesterday, of course, and on Friday we had the NFL draft. Are you keeping tabs on that, Colin?
Yeah, keeping tabs as much as I can. I can't find a good like live outside of the television. I haven't been watching it on TV, but I feel like ESPN app is a little laggy, NFL app is a little laggy, so it's been hard to really follow the live. I was following your guys' updates for sure, but
hey,
yeah.
Thank you.
Shout out to Jesse.
I was gonna say you could have been following us, but it's good to hear you're watching it.
I for sure was.
Also, then you didn't see any of the Rams picks.
I had seen they got the running back from Florida State, Akers, right? And I didn't really see who their second pick was.
Their second pick was a receiver from Florida, Van Jefferson.
Oh, I did see that. Van Jefferson, yeah.
And what do you think about them letting go of Gurley?
I think it's a good move. I'm not too sure what the verdict is as far as like public opinion on that, but I got tired as a Rams fan of sitting there watching this man stand on the sidelines. Like it started to get old for me. It did. And to be honest, I'm not like, this is in no way Todd Gurley hate. He's a ball player. He's a damn good football player. But I don't know. I think that he was given a lot of credit, and we'll see where how much of it was scheme and how much of it was Todd Gurley. I think he has everything to play for going to Atlanta, and I'm sure that he'll do big things there because he has the city on his back. So it'll be interesting to watch for sure. But I'm happy that they parted ways. It cleared up some cap space for us and all that type of stuff. So, yeah.
So one question I wanted to ask you as a Rams fan, something that has divided them recently. What do you think about the new logo?
It's almost made me not a Rams fan, if I'm honest. Like it really, if they go through with it and that is the official logo, I'm not too sure if I'll be a Rams fan for much longer. I'll go back to having no team and just being a fan of football.
Strong words.
Yeah.
It is not.
Seems like they're just trying to copy the Chargers logo.
It looks disgusting. It looks like Channel 4 News or something. Like it's a horrible move. I could not see them actually making that the official logo and going through with it. We'll see, but sheesh, that's a rough one for sure for LA sports in general. That's tough. Like,
yeah, we'll have to wait and see for the uniforms.
Yeah, I'm like scared for that too now. Like, I don't know what's going on up there. They need a new team or something with the media relations. They need SAC Sidelines help up there.
Yeah, thank you. We'll come up with a better logo for sure.
Yeah, no, we talked about it last week on our podcast about Christian McCaffrey getting his fat contract. And, of course, the Rams, previously gave Gurley a fat contract only to let him go later. So do you think it's wise for teams to be paying big money to the running back position?
I personally do. I really think that, we've been through the whole air raids era of football the last, 10 years-ish. And you're starting to see it now, the power run schemes really coming back and really having success in today's game. You see the Saints, how they have the power run game going. You see the Ravens power run game going. A lot of times the Chiefs, they have that air raid offense, but they get a lot started in the run game. So I think it's worth the money, especially for Christian McCaffrey. He does a lot. He catches balls out of the backfield. He'll score running the ball. And I think that the Panthers have a questionable quarterback position situation right now. And so they couldn't afford to even risk losing McCaffrey. So, of course, they're going to give him a big contract,
That's true. True. Very true.
So thank you for joining us, Colin. We were going to, if you want to stick around, well, we would totally welcome you. We're going to go on to more topics around the world or the NFL or in sports. Would you mind just staying?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right, for sure.
Around the world?
Around the world. That's what we do here.
All right. So we have some trending topics that obviously the news on everybody's lips right now is drafts. And to be honest, it's been pretty exciting to watch. And the first thing I wanted to ask you guys, now that we have Colin with us, I'd like to know his perspective as well. What was the most exciting moment to you guys, besides the Rams ones, besides backing your team? What was one of the most exciting or unexpected moments that you found within this year's draft?
Well, I'll go first. For me, it was, as a Packers fan, Packers Twitter just hated the Packers draft. They drafted a quarterback in the first round, which I totally understand because the same thing happened when we had Brett Favre and we drafted Aaron Rodgers, which I totally get. But everyone was furious. How are you not going to get Aaron Rodgers any help? We didn't draft any wide receivers. We did draft a running back who was 247 pounds, and we did draft a tight end / H-back.
Who was the rest?
I think his name is A.J. Dillon. He's a running back from Boston College.
Mm-hmm. He's a dog.
So I'm thinking with all the draft picks they made with the offensive lineman and a big running back and a tight end, we're moving more towards a run-oriented offense. So that's what I came away from the drafts.
My most shocking moment, I would say, was the Cowboys drafting CeeDee Lamb and getting CeeDee Lamb in the first round because that's just automatically going to cue all kinds of Cowboy fans like doing Super Bowl predictions already at this time of year. Not even knowing if there's going to be a season, they're already talking about that they're going to win the Super Bowl because Dak got CeeDee Lamb. It's pretty pathetic, if you ask me. But that's definitely a good weapon, of course, for the Cowboys. But please, come on. But that was like my bombshell moment of the draft, I think, when the Cowboys grabbed him.
Yeah, they're always going to say they're going to win the Super Bowl. They're like Raiders fans. Every
Yeah,
year, we're going to win the Super Bowl.
man, they need to start saying we'll possibly make the playoffs. That's what they should. For me, I feel like the biggest, the bombshell that I had seen and taken away from the draft this year is the shenanigans going on at the homes of these players.
Oh my god.
It is ridiculous. Like I'm shaken up about it. It is. People are trying to steal the show. You know, it's ridiculous. I was thinking about for CeeDee Lamb, like it is crazy because now forever, when he looks back on this moment, that'll be what like stands out to everybody, including most likely him. Like that.
Oh my
that's
goodness.
that sticks with him.
You know what? It's funny because you think about it from like a media perspective, and Colin, like within our own staff, we've kind of talked about how kind of media trained you are and how outgoing you are, etc. And compliments to you on that. But then I think like from the PR side, it's like, wow, you're really in these people's homes seeing them raw, exactly how they are. There's no editing or anything. In that moment, I was, as a female, I was like, oh no. What did you just do in front of everyone? But I really don't think she was thinking about the camera at that time.
Yeah, it definitely was a slip up, I think, too. What makes it even worse is what's his name's ex from why am I having a brain fart on a name? But point guard for the Hawks. I'm
That's
drawing a
exactly
blank.
what I was trying to tell the guys. Yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
Trae Young?
Yeah, that's Trae Young's ex at Oklahoma. So
Oh, wow.
that even adds to the story and makes it worse. Like, oh
Wow,
my,
moving from athlete to athlete.
somebody said that she dropped the bag twice. I was like, oh no.
No comment. No comment.
Oh yeah, and I saw one. I'm not sure what player it is right now at the top of my head, but I saw when the mom came and took his girl off of his lap with the cameras on him. Like, you're not getting this moment from my son, kind of thing.
He was
That was hilarious too.
You see a different dynamic for sure with how they're adapting to this whole, cameras in homes kind of thing.
Well, they usually, it's been a thing, right? They've done it in the past years. Like I think about Tyrann Mathieu's moment when he got drafted to the Cardinals. They had the camera at his house, and it was honestly a beautiful moment. He was sitting there, tears in his eyes. His family had tears in their eyes, But well, I mean, you saw some of that this year, but it was just surrounded by just utter shenanigans.
Definitely a fresh take. So moving on to our next question. I wanted to know, to all you guys having your input, what was the best looking jersey this year so far that's been introduced?
I'll take this question first. I think the best one would be, it's going to be unpopular, but I think the one Atlanta Falcons jersey that looked more old school. The rest of them look bad, but that one that was like a throwback to their old days with just the black Falcon and the old style uniform, that one was my favorite. Even more so than the Chargers uniforms. The Chargers uniforms look fire too, but I'm gonna go with that Falcons uniform.
Yeah, and for me, it's definitely the Chargers uniform, but I'm a homer. So I can't, I'm a big Chargers fan. So, of course, I like that we got a fresh look and we got a fresh quarterback now. So, hey.
I think he'll be damn good, too.
Yeah.
This is an unpopular opinion, and it's probably going to get hated on, but I couldn't understand the hate on the Patriots new jerseys. I was a fan of them, to be honest.
Yeah, they're not bad. I just think they're all right because they were kind of introduced a little bit last year with the color rush, I think, and it's just like a white version of that.
Yeah, I kind of like the stripe on the shoulders too. I don't know. I think like they're kind of getting to like a little cartoony stage of like the NFL where everything has to be so bright colory and neon-y and this and that. Like they kind of had the color rush like you had mentioned and kind of ran with it, I feel like, and it almost looks a little bit corny to me, but
Yeah, just follow the money. That's why. That's the reason.
Yeah, that's a fact.
All right, moving on. So, which player in NFL history that you think personally has gotten the most overlooked in the past?
Well, to me, I think for this, like, I'm thinking of players that like didn't get their shine on in the draft. You have people like Kobe, of course, that got overlooked. People like Jordan, not necessarily overlooked. I mean, they're still in the first round. But like as far as like sleepers are concerned, I mean, there's Tom Brady, of course. But my favorite would be Terrell Davis, 6th-rounder for the Broncos. GOAT running back, right? And when people doubt you like that, you have everything to prove. So that would be my pick there.
I think mine would be the first one that came to my head was John Randall, who's the Hall of Fame defensive tackle for the Minnesota Vikings back in the day, like I think in '90s, and he was undrafted because he was a little undersized defensive tackle, but he got by with his speed and quickness to get through offensive lines and just made a Hall of Fame career out of it. And he got undrafted, so it shows you how much these scouts really know when no one knows anything until they actually start playing.
I think for me, the name that just jumped out to my head just off of his career was Junior Seau. I think he gets a lot of credit, but when you think of like the best linebackers of all time, I don't think Junior Seau's name gets mentioned enough in that conversation. And he was consistently doing what he was doing for a long, long time. And I feel like that has been just slightly overlooked a little bit.
Yeah, people forget Junior Seau was a monster for the Chargers. People might remember him just from the Patriots, but with the Chargers, he was a monster.
Yeah, he was a freak show for real.
Well, for the
How dare you interrupt me?
I'm sorry, Miss Editor.
I'm joking. This is Zoom. This is unscripted. Go ahead, Eric.
I was just saying, was that it for the topics that we had today?
That's it for the topics that we have. That's exactly what I was going to say. And I was going to thank Colin. I was going to thank Colin for being with us as well. And I want to ask you, Colin, before we let you go, what's the first thing that you're going to do when this stay-home order is lifted and you can freely roam around Rancho or beyond?
Oh, I haven't even really thought about it like that yet. To be honest, there's nothing that really sticks out to me. Like, I don't really want to go do anything crazy. I want to play football, that's for sure. This hot weather it reminds me like grinding days out with my teammates. And like, I feel like when you do that, you kind of put like, tokens in a bag and then you get to take them out eventually one day, but you keep on putting them in. And I feel like something's missing out of my life walking around when it's hot like this and I don't get to go grind with my teammates, but nothing specific. Nothing specific.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And whichever it is that you choose, we'll be on the lookout because we're participating, man. We are.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah. Thank you guys very much for having me. I appreciate it. And I'm down to talk sports with you guys anytime.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You guys have a good one.
Thanks.
You too. All right. That was awesome, right?
That was, yeah. Colin's always a great interview.
Absolutely. All righty, Eric. I think you have something for us, Eric.
I do. Just like every other episode, I have my quick hits where I ask you guys questions. It could be a game, could be just a regular question. So the first question I'm going to ask you guys right now is, since the NFL draft just ended today, in honor of that, if you were to have a draft of all your friends, who would you pick number 1 overall?
So you're going to have us say right here on this broadcast,
putting you on the spot,
out a friend and possibly have the rest of them write us off for the rest of this quarantine. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm asking.
I would choose probably like a draft of life, or like qualities, physical, emotional, supportive.
All of the above.
Okay. I would probably draft my best friend Denise because she's a mom, so she has a lot of really essential skills. She's smart, and we've been friends for a long time, so she's faithful. She's ride or die.
And how about you, Jesse?
Now, I would pick. This is a very easy pick, and sorry to all my friends out there that get sad about this pick, but I pick my husky Nala. I mean, that's my best friend.
Great
I mean, I'm a big Game of Thrones fan, and of course, the big wolf always saves the day. So definitely have to pick my wolf there, my husky.
I think you just got the steal of the draft, Jesse.
Yeah.
All right. So next question.
What about you?
I'm the one asking the questions here. Okay. All right. Next question. It's going to be a game. So obviously you two can play. Bridget, can you keep score, please?
Sure.
So this game is called real word or fake word. So I'm going to say a word. You tell me if it's real or fake, and tell me what you think it means. All right, ready?
Ready.
Real word or fake word? Bridget, you can go first. Hemoglobin.
Oh,
real word or
that's
fake
real,
word?
bro. That's real.
That's
Like
real?
you do realize we are in college, right?
Okay. When
Yes,
was the last
that's a
time we
real
talked
word.
about hemoglobin?
He
I
gave
watched
it
Grey's
to-
Mm-hmm.
Anatomy. Okay,
Okay.
so
Sorry about
yes,
that. All right.
He's
that's a
like,
real
I'm a
word.
doctor, basically. Yeah.
Yes.
So point to Bridget. Jesse, your turn. All right. Next word is keekser. Keekser.
Can I have a pronunciation?
Keekser.
In a sentence, in a sentence.
I'm
That's for you
joking.
to
I'm
figure
joking.
out.
That's a fake word. That is a fake word.
You think that's a fake word?
Yes.
Well, then you would be right. So 1
Yes.
point for Jesse.
Thank you. You're putting us to the test here as journalists. I hope
Truly.
you're.
I'm in the hot seat. I know. You're putting us on blast for sure. Go ahead.
Your turn, Bridget. Next word. Lickspittle.
Ugh.
Lickspittle.
Real.
Real? What do you think it means?
This is so embarrassing. It sounds like something that would happen on a farm,
A
like
farm?
farm equipment or
Farm equipment? Well, you're right on it being a real word, but totally wrong on the definition.
what is it,
A
Eric?
lickspittle is someone who submits to the people who is in charge. Like they revere authority.
Oh, like you're my lick spittle?
I wouldn't say that. Nah. All right. Jesse, your turn. Next word. Dongle.
That is a real word.
Real word, what do you think it means?
I do not recall off the top of my head, but I do know that it's a real word.
Okay, you would be right. It's a small device able to be connected to and used with the computer.
There you go. See, I just didn't want to say what I was thinking
Okay.
first.
You have
That's the
us on
definition.
You have us on trial right now, Eric. When we're responding stuff like I do not recall,
You plead the fifth.
Right?
I would not like to comment at this time. Yeah.
All right, so it's tied like 2-2, right? If I'm correct.
Correct.
All right, next word, Bridget. All right, sorry for this pronunciation. Serpendulous.
See, this is where my mind goes like, he's faking me out. He's like, sorry for this pronunciation because I really did look this up and it's a real word. So it's not.
It's not a real word? Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
You're right. It is a fake word. I just made it up. All right. Jesse, your turn. Next word. Traducid. Traducid. Real or fake?
Fake. That is a fake word that you just made up right now.
Fake word that I made up?
Yes, that you made up.
You guys are good at this. That is a fake word.
Wow. My gosh.
Well, that's all the words I have, so I guess it ends in a tie.
We are tied. We are
are
equally smart against one another, for sure. Thank
It's
you.
not stump us.
Yeah, thank you. Next.
Next, do we have time for another one?
We got time for another question for quick hits. Yeah.
Another question. Do you want me to ask the question that we were talking about earlier?
Sure.
Sure. All right. So I was looking online and I ran across a headline that said Kate Beckinsale was dating a 22-year-old. She's like in her 40s. So my question to you guys is, at what age is it weird, the age gap? Whoever wants to
Okay.
go first.
Wait.
Now I'm regretting
ahead.
having you ask this question.
Okay, let me answer this first.
Go, Jesse.
Can I? Okay, so I'd like to just say that age is nothing but a number, unless, of course, it's illegal. Then that's wrong. Okay, but
I said age
age
gap.
is
I didn't
nothing
say
but a number.
underage.
As
Minors.
long as they're of consenting age, then age is nothing but a number. Love is beautiful, and
So
it has
Right.
no
it's
number.
not weird at all for
The
a
age gap?
80-year-old
No, you
to be
specifically
with
asked
a
for
20-year-old.
you asked for age gap, right?
Yes.
So I think that as long as the both people are adults, they know what they're doing, they're consenting and they feel something, I agree. I don't think that there should be. I think there's a taboo, but society shouldn't be putting those labels on. So I think that as long as you care for someone, they care for you. Age is nothing but a number.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I have.
Wow. We ended like NFL picks to age
And
gap. I love it. I
that's
love
what
it.
the
We
show
cover
is about.
everything. Exactly.
Great. So thank you so much for everybody who's tuning in and stayed watching the show to this very end. We really do appreciate you. And we do want to give a special shout out to a few people, right? Do we have any shout outs that we want to give today, Eric, Bridget?
Shout out to everybody who's watching this, everybody who watched episode 1. Shout out to frontline workers. Shout out to our family. Shout out to everybody keeping quarantine. We're almost out of time, but thank you all so much.
Yeah. Shout out to the taco trucks that keep me well fed, that are still open. That's it. That's all that deserve it right now, besides the frontline workers, obviously.
Thank you so much.
Right, thank you. And as far as me, I would just like to give a shout out, like as Bridget said, to all of our frontline workers out there right now that are currently still battling this pandemic. And everybody, as Bridget said, that's adhering to the stay-at-home orders. You're all doing your part, so thank you.
Signing off
And
SAC Sidelines at home.
yes, and make sure also to tune in to our trivia night that is coming soon. We're
Yes.
having a sports trivia night hosted by yours truly,
Awesome.
me. So
More
tune in.
information on that in our Instagram and our social media.
Stay tuned.
Thank you guys.
Later, Gator.